Hi everybody, this is Teen Librarian Allison, and welcome to the Pre-College and College Search Series. This is episode 1 of 3. Today we're going to be going over the topic of AP tests and SAT tests. We'll be focusing on where you can find test prep help from books and databases, which are all available at the library. In Destination, we have a section for just test prep. We have test prep books for different subjects for AP, Regents, SAT, and PSAT. All of these books are available for you to check out from the library. So one of our first books that we're going to be looking at is the McGraw-Hill Publishing. So the first book is 5 Steps to a 5. I'll just give you a cover image. You can find physics, calculus, history, biology, and more. Any type of AP test that you have to take, you will be able to find it with McGraw-Hill. Now, 5 Steps to a 5 is a book that has 500 questions, which are separated into chapters that talks about the different topics in each chapter. Towards the end of the book, there are answers to your questions, and they have explanations as to why these are the right answers. So let's say you want to go over something in your macroeconomics, a particular topic in that course. You can study it and then take the test on it. So this would be a really great way to not only do some review, but then do some practice tests. And it also gives you some tips on how to get that 5 for the AP exam. McGraw-Hill also has SAT subject test prep books. So let's go into that cover. It's very similar to the 5 Steps to a 5, where they have different tests that you can take, an overview of subjects. So in the math level 1, you can find a particular subject or a topic in that subject, get an overview, get a nice review, and then take some tests and answer some questions. There's also answers to your questions in the back of the book. As it says on the cover, there are 7 full-length practice tests with answers and explanations. Now, very similarly to McGraw-Hill, we also have Barron's AP. It's the same sort of thing where you have questions and answers with a variety of subjects: history, art history, calculus, psychology, whatever your AP exam is, Barron's has a book on it. Now, a lot of these are up to date, so if you're going to be taking the AP exam soon, these are going to be really good for helping you study for those. And this one, like it says, it includes an online practice, so you can get help from the book and online through Barron's. And this one has 5 practice tests that you can take. So again, you will have a review and answers to your questions in the back. Barron's also has SAT help. So Barron's SAT is 1600. This is aiming the perfect score out of 1600. Now I'm just going to open this up so we can look at that cover image to get a better idea of what you're actually going to be looking for. If you're going into Destination and you want to know what book you're actually looking for, what it's going to look like. So this one has 2 full-length practice tests and 1 online, very similar to the other Barron's book. And this also has a review of different subjects, so the math, the English. You're going to find all of your review in this book before you take tests. It's not just a test. Everything always has some sort of a review of the subject or whatever the test is about. You're going to get sections on what you should know and then be able to take the test. Now, this one also has answers and explanations. So if you're not really sure about why an answer might be correct, always flip to the back so that way it's explained to you there. One of our other really popular AP and SAT test prep books is the Princeton Review. So again, a lot of these are set up pretty much the same, where you have all the different subjects of AP tests that you're going to be taking. There are full-length tests provided. There are reviews about different topics on the different subjects. They give you tips, techniques, tricks to help you get that 5. There's online content. And of course, the full-length test that you can take with answers. The Princeton Review also has an SAT prep book as well. So if you are looking to improve in a certain area for the SAT, for AP, any one of these are going to be a really great option. One other SAT is the College Board SAT. So these are the people that actually write the SAT test. So this one is especially helpful. For some of you, you may have taken our SAT classes with some of the instructors from Sachem, and you get this book. If you don't have this book, if you can't afford it, you can always take it out from the library. And this will give you what you need to prepare for the SAT exam. All the copies we have in Destination are up to date. So if you're looking for the newest editions, we have them all in Destination. Now, one other thing I want to show you is the PSATs. Some people might be taking those. We also have PSAT from Kaplan. These are also set up the same way that AP, SAT prep books are. We have practice tests, strategies, online help, where you're getting an overview of each subject. So any one of these tests are really great for really focusing on specific topics or specific subjects. And like we've seen with a lot of them, they're done by topics or by subjects. So if you are taking maybe just 1 or 2 AP exams, you can take out the specific test prep book that you're going to need. And like I said, all of these are available to take out and to take home from Destination under our test prep section. Another quick thing I just wanted to mention, on top of all of our test prep books, we do have books like Hot Words for the SAT. So if you're just looking to brush up on some words you think might be on the exam, things you might need to know, we have books like this on our test prep shelf as well. So if you're preparing for the SAT, AP exam, PSAT, I recommend taking a trip down to Destination and taking a look at our test prep shelf. And if you need any help, you can ask any librarians and we can help you find what you need. Now that we have gone over the books that are available on Destination for you to take out, we're going to take a look at some databases that are going to be helpful for your SAT, AP, PSAT test prep. So from the home page, what you're going to do is under Services and Resources, you'll click on Research and Databases, which will bring you to this page here. And the first one we're going to look at is Learning Express. So if you are doing this from home, you will click on the Home button. If you're at the library looking at this, you will click on the little person. When you click on it, you'll be brought to this page here. Now, you do need to make an account to access certain things on this database. So if you have not made an account before, I suggest making one. All you need is an email address and a password. They might ask you for your library card, and you can just put your library card in there. And this database is free to use. So this database allows you to improve your skills from K-12, college, test prep, and career help. For our purposes today, we're going to focus on how this database can help you with prepping for your tests. So under the college admissions test prep, right here, as you can see, we have a bunch of different options and different tests to prep for. So let's go into the AP exam first. So here's all the different AP exams that we can prep for. And as you can see, if you wanted to change, maybe you want to do the SAT now, or you clicked on that by accident, you could always just click on the drop-down menus or click on the words, and the test prep help will come right up. So let's go back to AP. Let's say that I want to prep for computer science. So at the top, it tells you how many tests are available, if there's any tutorials or ebooks available, and how many articles are available. So I would recommend, before you do anything, to take one of the tests, usually the first one. You want to familiarize yourself with the content. It's a good way to get a baseline of how well you know the subject, and it's a good way to also understand how these tests work on Learning Express. So I would recommend taking the test first so you know where you stand. If you immediately go into studying, you might be overstudying in something you might not need help in, and then you might not want to study in a certain area. You figure, well, I just studied all this, I think I know that. But in reality, you might not know as much as you thought you did, or maybe you didn't memorize it or understand it as much. I would 100% recommend taking a test first. Get an idea of where you stand when it comes to a certain subject. So I'm just going to click on Start Test. So this is obviously about the test, what you can expect to find on the test, multiple choice questions, free response, how many questions there are, how much time you have to take it, and then you can choose the mode. So whenever you finish, the timer will stop. Practice, so you can see answers explained, and the learner, if you view the answer to each question as you go along to help you study. So you can see what you got right and wrong right away, and then take notes to help you study. And then gives you tips how to take the test. So I'm just going to start it so we can see what it looks like. So we have how much time is remaining for this section, and then how much test time in total. So like I said, you need to make an account, so that way if you wanted to finish the test later, you want to come back to it, and you want to see your score, you want to be able to save those, and in order to do that, you need to make an account. So I have that up here. I have my name up here, and you'll know you'll have an account if you have your username right up here. I'm not a computer science person, so I'm just going to guess for things. But you can also flag questions for review. So the question is flagged, so you can go back and review it, and it will be explained. And then when you're ready, you'll just hit next and go to the next question. Now, if you want to finish for later, like I said, you just click on Finish Later, and you could save it. Maybe you don't, maybe you want to go back to it. I don't need to save it. It'll take you back to this screen here. Now, if you wanted to go back to that, you can go right up here and click on My Center, and it'll tell you the tests that you're in the middle of, any tutorials or ebooks, articles, flashcards, computer courses, whatever you've downloaded, whatever you're in the process of, finished, they're all here. As well as a career dashboard, school finders, scholarship dashboard. We'll come back to ones like these later on in the series. So let's go back to the home and back to college admissions test prep, and let's look at the SAT test prep. So set up kind of similarly to the AP exams, except it's just into the reading, writing, math, essay portions. So if we want to prep, we want some tutorials, let's go into essay. We just have the one tutorial. Back. After you do a tutorial, now you want to take a test. So let's do practice. I would say to do this like you would your AP exams. Take test 1 first. Figure out where your skills lie when it comes to the SAT essay section, or the math or reading. Just so that way you know your strengths and your weaknesses going into studying. It's a good way to cut down on study time and also narrow down what you need to study and what you should be reviewing. If you feel like you've got a good handle on everything, that's great. Still, do an overall test, go through some of these anyway. So that's the first database that we offer that can help you with test prep. The second database is one that you might already be familiar with, and that is Brainfuse. So I think many people have used Brainfuse before. It has live tutoring with teachers from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. You have things to help you with writing, with entrance exams, career help, study help, adult learning. Brainfuse is a really great resource for a lot of different things. For our purposes, we're going to go into SkillServer, so that way we can look for some test prep help. So everything on this page is placement tests, test prep, things to help you with each level of schooling. Now we're going to go into college entrance test prep. And this is set up kind of similarly to Learning Express, where things are broken down into each category. But we also see things like CLEP tests or the ACT. Now I'm just going to click into one of these. So a lot of these have the prep pack. So what the prep packs are different resources that Brainfuse will recommend you use to help you study up on a topic. A lot of these are links that are things that are outside of Brainfuse. Some things are an internal resource, but there are things that are going to be done externally, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to click on this one. So now it'll say you are now leaving Brainfuse. Don't worry, that's supposed to happen. So right here is a resource that Brainfuse is recommending you use for AP Government and Politics. If you're taking that AP GoPo test, this is what they would recommend you use to help you study. So you get a course description, the contents. So if you're looking for something really specific from GoPo, this is the place to look for that. Just get a little overview. And then it also has some additional resources. It's always good to look at the additional resources to see where the information you're looking at came from. And to get out of that, just go back. And here are the practice tests that you can take. There's only 2 for this one. Again, I'm going to recommend this. Take a test first. Figure out where you are. Then you'll know where your strengths and weaknesses lie and which one of these you should be focusing the most on. Sometimes we tend to study so much on one thing that we end up missing some other things. And maybe we didn't need as much help in one area and we're totally lacking in another area. So it's important to know where you stand. Okay, just gonna hit back again. So now I'm going to look at the SAT, and let's go into reading. So this one has a lot more to it. We have some practice that you can do for reading, some passage-based reading lessons. If you haven't taken an SAT before, there are some passages you will have to read and answer questions. Sentence completion sample questions, passage-based reading sample questions, and vocabulary. This one I feel like is one that teens focus on a lot. So there are a lot of different flashcards and sample questions for vocabulary. This is something I think a lot of people heavily focus on. But it isn't just vocabulary, though it is important. You also have passage-based reading, sentences. They're going to ask analogies. Be ready for all of it. And we'll click into one of these sample questions. Okay, so this is what I was talking about something's being done internally in Brainfuse. You don't have to go to an external site. It'll be done right here, and you can take some practice tests. And they'll give you some of those sample questions with an answer key at the bottom. The only thing that this doesn't have is an explanation for why things are the way they are. But what's good about Brainfuse is that you can always get that live tutoring help. So maybe you take a few of these tests and you're not sure why the answers are what they are. You can always sign on with a tutor and get some extra help with that. Okay, so that is part 1 of our series. Remember that each one of these resources will help you with your test-taking abilities, with understanding materials, test-taking, anything that you need. These resources, both in the library and online, are going to be very helpful. So this was part 1, and in our next part, we will be searching for the right college, college essays, majors, and virtual college tours.